In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that people either love to hate or hate to love. Networking.
Networking.
Networking. I personally love it.
I do too.
Yeah. For me, it's really, really fun, but I have been to some really awkward networking events. And I've also, myself, been in situations where I didn't know exactly what to ask. So today, we're specifically going to talk about non-surface level networking questions because no one actually likes an icebreaker game. Of course, you're going to ask, what do you do? But then what?
Then what? Yeah, how can you piggyback off of that to have a really good, meaningful conversation with someone, especially if you only have a few minutes?
Correct.
Because whether you're at a bar or a physical networking event, you will not have a lot of time with an individual human usually.
And for me specifically, when it comes to networking events or just times when I'm like, ooh, I wish I had better questions, it's less of even when I'm at like a regular schmegular networking event, just meeting other humans. And it's more of if I'm at a conference or something and there's a moment to ask speakers questions, it's really hard because you've just watched them keynote for 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour. And you're like, okay, well, I know everything about you. So what do I ask? That's kind of my inspiration for some of the questions that I have ready.
Yeah. We each prepared 5 questions. So 10 total. I don't know her questions. She doesn't know my questions. And we figured we'd pepper them off to you. So grab a pen. We'll put them in the show notes too. But grab a pen and let's do it.
Yeah. Let's dive in. Okay, what's your first question?
My first question is, tell me about your mentor.
Ooh, okay. So, and we won't dive super deep into answers here just to keep this quick for anyone listening, but I have a couple answers with this. If someone asks me, tell me about my mentor. So for me, I actually go back to not even entrepreneur days, but in college. I had a boss named Tanya. Shout out to Tanya. She was and still is incredible. And I was working at Bare Minerals at the time. So I'm huge into makeup. Makeup is my first creative love for anyone who doesn't know. And she was the boss at our local Bare Minerals in Lafayette, Louisiana. And she taught me what it is to work really hard and to fall in love with what you do. And she was also just really real. She wasn't one of those bosses that you were nervous to be around. She wanted to know how school was. She wanted to know what you were doing with your future. When I told her that I was quitting and Alec and I were moving to New York, she was like so sad to see me go, but also the first person to be super excited. She and I haven't talked in years, but she's someone that I think about often when it comes to being a good leader. There was not one person on our team, and this is retail. Think about the turnover of retail.
Right.
There was not one person on our team that disliked her.
That's amazing.
She was incredible.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Literally for any boss, but especially retail.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and Bare Minerals is that kind of brand that you're with the customer. Like you are shaping their life, really, making them feel really confident and comfortable and beautiful. And I'm glad you didn't have a lot of turnover because you're able to serve a lot of people in that environment. That's really special.
Yeah. Love. So I would consider her a mentor, even though it's not necessarily in the true entrepreneur fashion, but like this is your reminder to anyone listening, like you can find a mentor anywhere in life, and it might have nothing to do with what you do now, but sometimes there's even more to learn from that, which is amazing. Okay. That's amazing. Question number 2. What's the best lesson a failure has ever taught you?
Oh my. Best lesson a failure has taught me. You know, I would have to say, even though I live and breathe by my calendar and to-do lists and timelines, that's just how I am. I think I have had many failures because the timing wasn't right, even if I was trying to make the timing right.
Yeah.
And so it's always that reminder for me that it's not my time, it's God's time. And if it doesn't work out, that is just a lesson. And I know that he's trying to teach me that because I get very stuck on, okay, well, if this is happening, then I need to do this beforehand, and this, like after. And sometimes none of that works out.
100%.
Right, wrong, or otherwise, whether it's me, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I always take that as, okay, you're right. It's not my time. It's God's time. But I still live by my calendar.
I mean, I love a calendar.
That is what I'm going to be learning forever. But
I put friend FaceTimes on my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not happening.
Correct. Because we're just so busy.
Correct.
But that's a really big lesson.
Yeah.
Is just to always remember that.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Question number 3.
Describe your favorite dream day in a life.
Ooh. Okay. I love this question because I do a journal prompt that's really similar to this called like Magical Holiday Land, where I'm just like, what is the dream day in the life? So for me, I have this. My dream day is a day where I wake up at 6 a.m. I have a really slow morning. From 6 to 7, I'm meditating. I'm getting into journaling. 7 to 8, I'm sitting on the couch having coffee with my husband and my cats. And I'm potentially journaling a little bit more, having good conversations with my husband, reading. Slow morning. Once 8 o'clock hits, I'm starting to move physically and get up from the couch and going and getting ready. And while I get ready, I'm having, again, a slow, chill get ready where shower, makeup, get dressed the whole nines. I'm listening to a podcast to like really hype me up for the day. I love doing something personal development-esque in the morning, whether it's podcast, audiobook, Tony Robbins yelling at me on YouTube, a TED Talk, like really insert any of the above.
Feed your mind, feed your body.
Yes, 100%. And then it's habit stacking. Like I'm doing that while I'm getting ready. So like 2 birds with 1 stone. And then I start my day with a sitting down, cleaning out the email, looking at my to-do list for the day, because of course that's already done because I've time blocked my week the Sunday before the week ahead, but I judged it the night before even because things are in flux. And then I sit down, I check in with my team, I make sure everything is good. I might do a little bit of work, but like really my team is like really, really on it. I'm more vision casting for my business and, working on the business instead of in the business. I do a long lunch with a friend in the afternoon, do a little bit more work here and there, networking with different people, conversating with different people. In my day with a workout, probably a climb. That's becoming my new favorite thing. My husband and I are getting into bouldering. And then we cook dinner at home together because we love cooking and trying new recipes. And it's an early night watching a hockey game or a movie together or reading together, and then bed. I know I included work in my day in the life, but like the idea to me of being able to send out emails to connect with new humans, network, have a team to check in and make sure the client work is really good to go. And I would always have less insight on everything, obviously. That would be a dream.
I love that. I love that. I love how much like intentional time that you're building in with your husband, and intentional lunches you're having with friends, and like you're blocking your day that way so that you can go in, check with the team is killing it, and you can be like, okay, I'm going to continue bringing in new business, I'm going to continue feeding me, I'm going to continue doing things for my mind, body, soul, while you guys are crushing it, because I also need to crush it in my own life to take things to the next level. Yeah. I think that's wonderful.
Can't wait.
I love that.
Calling it in. Question number 4. What's a mindset shift that completely changed how you approach your business? Yes, this is a really good one to ask us, the speaker on the stage that you just heard speak for an hour.
My gut mindset shift reaction is never fear failure, because you're always just learning forward. Yeah, that's what I like to say. I don't even like the term fail forward because I've heard that, I've said that myself, but I just don't like the word failure because you're really never failing. You're just learning and you're growing. Right. And I think that is something that early on as an entrepreneur, I really had to drill into my brain because I'm less perfectionist, but more just like, I want to make other people proud. I want to make sure that what I do is actually giving back to the community and giving to society and really helping someone. So if I fail at something, I'm like, okay, we didn't actually fail. Like, how can we do it better? What are the notes that we took this time? You can't fail if you don't try. Right. And I think trying is really, really important in every aspect of life.
And if you've never failed, that means you didn't try. Failure, it's hard. That's a hard one to change the perspective on because, of course, it doesn't feel good when something doesn't go your way. It sucks. It straight up sucks. And let yourself have a 15-minute pity party where you cry, you scream, you punch the pillow, but then you get back up and try again because failure is just the first attempt in learning.
First attempt in learning.
There we go.
This is why she's my business partner, folks. Oh, that was brilliant.
I saw Ryan Serhant say that on social media, and I was like,
that's it.
Tattooing that on my forehead.
Amazing. Okay, we will also take him. That's incredible.
Question number 5.
Biggest fear in business and why? Okay, this is a multiple part question.
Okay.
How did you measure it, and how will you avoid that in the future? What had to happen for that? Like, what is
not making enough money? Honestly, that's a really scary thing, especially as we're talking about having a team. Like that's like, money is not everything. And I would say that we're impact driven in business. Like I like to work with humans who are passionate about what they do because I'm passionate about what I do. And like when we can have this like beautiful interchanging of passion, it's amazing. But like at the end of the day, we live in a world where money is what rules everything. It's how you buy your food, how you pay for the roof over your head, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, like money wounds are a big thing. Like money mindset. I've done a lot of work and come out the other side of a lot of it, but like we're always still learning and growing as we level up. So for me, there is a fear that I'm going to have it all and then I'm going to lose it all. And I have seen that reflect in business sometimes by having the best month of my life and maybe even for 3 months in a row, and then having the worst month of my life. Like complete transparent, because I'm happy to say it. I have had months like before Kelly and I merged, I'm going to reference this time. There was like a chunk of like 3 or 4 months in a row where I did over 5 figures. I was a solopreneur at the time, building websites, didn't really have a team. Like I had an assistant that would help me here and there, but it was just me grinding. And that was a big win for me. So I had 3 or 4, I think it was 4, 5-figure months in a row. And then come May, life was lifing in the personal life. But come May, like I think I literally made $300. Like it went from 10, 11, 12, 13 to like 300. And I was like, oh my God, nervous system dysregulated. What?
Now what?
So how do I measure it? Those were easy. It was tangible numbers. But how do I like to avoid in the future? It's money mindset work because I think there was a lot at play at that time for me energetically. I was definitely dealing with some anxiety and depression. I had, a family member that was starting to go downhill. There was a lot energetically there, but also reflecting and realizing when I was in those busy seasons of having those really incredible months, I wasn't spending as much time nurturing my community and doing outreach for new clients because I was so tunnel visioned in it with the work that I was doing. And of course that caught up with me.
Yes.
So having the moment of reflection of, okay, how can you build in a more sustainable marketing plan for yourself to be able to continue to market, nurture, and outreach, even when you're in a really busy season of grinding and working on the stuff that you already have on your plate. And there's a lot of answers on how you can do that. And that's definitely a different episode, but that's my answer.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the transparency. You're absolutely right. There are so many seasons where you're in it and you're excited and you're working on these projects. And then literally you don't reach out to anyone else because you're like, but I'm so busy and I love this and I'm abundant right now and this is incredible. And then all of a sudden crickets. And I really think, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that's happened to me. I think that's an easy thing to do because when you're in it, you're in it. And that's why your dream day is a lot of outreach and networking and continuing to move that forward while things are also getting done. I think that is just the duality of business. The business to work in it and to work on it are both very hard and very different things. And not everyone can do everything all at one time. So yeah, I think that's a great lesson.
Yeah, it was a good one. Question number 6. How has your definition of success evolved over time?
That's a great question. I would have to say when most people think of success, they think of money and they think of trips to Aruba every couple months and owning a private yacht. Doesn't that sound lovely? Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes. I'm not
going to accept.
Oh, totally. Without a doubt. But I think aside from money, I think success really comes when you can see smiles on faces when things work, right? In marketing, there's not only a science, but there's also the creative piece, and then there's also the strategy piece, and all of that, when that works out and clicks, and you're really talking to the right person at the right time with the right message, and you see sales coming in or whatever it is for that product, you all of a sudden get very, very happy clients, and then they believe in you stronger. And for me, I think that's one thing that's less like, yeah, the client's paying me to do this job, but like I am doing a really good job. And so it's almost like that happiness, even just in myself, of being successful in that.
I love that.
For me, it's like smiling is contagious. So you can go to the grocery store and smile at someone and they'll keep smiling and they'll keep smiling. And then all of a sudden the whole world is smiling and you are the reason that started. And for me, that's similar to success. If I get to walk into a room and meet someone new, that's successful for me.
I love that.
I think success is, I think it just keeps changing because yes, gaining lots and lots of money, that is awesome. But I wouldn't say that is success to me anymore. I really think it's more of an impact and like you said earlier, when we make a bigger impact in someone's life, that is more successful than making the dollar.
Yeah, the dollar, I think that's a big mindset shift too. And I feel like we could do a whole episode on success, but there's a mindset shift where it attaches less to money because money just becomes the result of the success, if that makes sense. But that there's a different energy there. Like the success is something else. You're excited about something else. You're lit up about something else. And the money happens, but it's not the thing you're striving for.
When I'm on stage and I say something, or even like I throw in a random pun and you see people laugh, that is success.
I love that.
You can feel the energy when people are vibing with you in any aspect. And I think that's really special. So I would have to say that's probably a big part of success.
I love
is to see like happiness bounce off someone else, really, from what I'm
continue.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 7.
It's kind of a duality one from the last one when we talked about fear.
Okay.
But what would you say is the biggest success in business and why?
Okay.
And then also, how did you measure it? And how could you replicate it or do something better?
Okay, I feel like I actually have many answers to this. So, for the sake of not talking everyone's ear off for an hour, I will keep it to one. For me, one of the biggest successes that I feel in business, it's gonna piggyback off what you just said with making someone else's day. When I get to see, as a designer, when I get to see my work in the wild,
Totally.
and especially if like it's in the wild in a way that I didn't make it, like meaning if I provide someone a graphic for their event and I see the event poster in the wild, still super exciting. I'm still obsessed with it. But when I see someone take what I've created for them with their branding and implement it in marketing in whatever way, shape, or form, or they got like a mural painted on the side of their building, I love seeing my work in the wild. I think it's really freaking cool. And it's just, for me, it feels good to know that I helped someone with a part of their business, because my mission, my personal mission in life, is to help people not settle. I believe we're on this earth for a short amount of time. And I think, especially in career, your career is not your identity, but it does take up a lot of your time, at least 40 hours a week typically. So if you're unfulfilled and unhappy in that 40-hour work week, that makes me sad. And I just, can we find a way for you to find joy in that time? Because you spend more time at work than you do with your family sometimes. And like, that sucks. And that's something we should all work on. But so like, seeing my work in the wild to me means that they were happy with the results, and I am helping someone else chase their dream and their passion. And there is just no better feeling to me. I love it. I love it.
I love that. Well, and that's so special because branding isn't just a logo slapped on something.
No.
Either. Branding is that confidence piece. You are so confident with what you're building that you want to put your logo on the side of a van and drive it around and feel proud about that. I have chills. Like, that is just a different type of happiness when it comes to branding.
And side note, when said past client also sends me a picture of it, like, please always, it makes my day. And when they're just like, I just want you to see this. So I shout out to the Floral Hive. If anyone needs floral services in Tempe, Louisiana, or the surrounding area, New Orleans, reach out to them. They're incredible. But Lauren, she got a van wrapped, and I did branding for Lauren years ago and still work with her all the time. She's amazing. But she got a van wrapped, and I did not design the van wrapping. I want to make that clear. That was someone else's work, and they killed it. It was beautiful, and there's so much meaning in it. But my logo is incorporated in it for sure, like the design I did there. And she sent me a picture. She sent me a mock-up before it was even fully created. And I was already giddy in excitement. But now when I go home, because she's from my hometown, and pass by the Floral Hive shop, and that van is just chilling in the parking lot, like, it just makes me happy every time.
That is really fun. Yeah, it's like that, the act of continuing on something that's really important. I love.
Okay, question 8. Favorite non-work related hobby that you believe makes the biggest impact in your work?
Yoga all day.
I can tell that she doesn't do yoga.
All day. I mean, you obviously know.
You answered that so fast.
Yoga. I mean, without a doubt. Like, without it. If I am not, yoga especially, but if I'm not going to the gym, if I'm not moving my body, I get grumpy. Brooke knows. Everyone knows. If you're in my circle, everyone's like, please go to the gym.
Also, please note that Kelly's grumpy is still nicer than most people. But you can't tell. Like, there's an energy shift. And I'm just like, have you done yoga?
And I'm like, oh no, that was rude at some point. My bad.
She does it with me when I don't meditate, though, so don't worry. We give it back to each other.
Yeah. But, like, for those of you who don't know, there was a very long period of my life. I was married. And I was married to someone that kept me very small. And I wasn't able, literally was not allowed to get a yoga membership. And so I started working out at home. I started doing yoga at home. And this was even during, like, COVID time when I couldn't even get a yoga membership. But I was like, you know what? Yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, like,
bless her.
My bitch.
She's so good.
Yeah. We love her. But that was really the whole piece of slowing down, but also like, it's super hard on the body. So it's just hard in a different way. And so when I moved to Seattle, I had 2 things that I needed out of an apartment in Seattle. And one of them was a walking distance from a yoga studio. Shout out to Mind Body Hum. I love them so much. And I go, if it's not 5 days a week, it's 6 days a week, it's 7 days a week sometimes. And
then like multi-class sometime, which is amazing.
Totally. So I just think it is so important to take a moment outside of your laptop and go do something for you. And that took years of my life to even just feel okay about doing that. So the fact that I have a non-negotiable that's pouring into me, past Kelly would have been like, oh, that's so selfish, Kel. Like, you have other things to do, or you have work to do, or your to-do list is piling up, or you should clean your apartment or whatever. And now I'm like, literally everything else in my life falls into place when I do that first. And there are months that I take off of yoga because I feel bad because I'm traveling 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month. And so I'm working out instead. And Brooke will be like, you didn't work out yet today. Uh-oh.
You should go to yoga.
Yeah. So anyway, yoga hands down.
I love that. I love that. And it makes perfect sense because yoga, it's the perfect blend of, hard on your body in the way it's a physical workout, but it is also so incredible to quiet the mind and just like feel inward and actually feel your body.
Totally.
Oh my God. Like the amount of time we live in our life and we're not like aware and present. In the moment. I love that.
And I'm a big like class person because I need to get out of my head.
Yeah.
So even I will be lifting weights and I'm still in my head thinking about my to-do list, thinking about things that need to happen. I could be blasting music in my ears and I'm still thinking about it. So when I'm in yoga, they tell you, obviously, moment to moment, what you're doing, how you're breathing, what next move has to happen. And I forget about everything else.
Something else to focus on.
And it is 60 minutes of just quiet in my brain, which is so wonderful. So I love that. I need that.
Okay. Question 9.
Which office supply would you be and why?
Sparkling water. Hands down.
Sparkling water.
Sparkling water. That is an office supply.
Okay, tell the people.
If you can buy it at Office Depot, it's an office supply.
I agree with that. Hey, that's great. That is great.
Because everyone needs a fun beverage at their desk. Everyone needs a bubbly moment in their day. And honestly, I'm going to use that metaphorically, whether you're physically drinking a sparkling water or just like having a moment of like, like what's something spicy and fun or just bubbly personality. I am someone who is chitty chatty and I like to be silly. I don't take things I do take things seriously, but I am going to crack a joke and do things like that. So to me, like a sparkling water is just a fun, spicy beverage. Yeah. And if you can buy it at Office Depot, it's an office supply. So I would be a sparkling water. And I used to drink like a case a day when I worked in corporate, and I still do at home. But it was better when I paid for it.
I'm just glad you weren't like, I'm a stapler because I hold the team together.
Hey, no offense to the staplers out there.
You are a necessary tool and we love. But that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's a funny question. Okay, why that question? For everyone listening, they're like, if I ask that to like Candace Nelson when I see her speak, she's gonna be like, what the fuck?
My heart is like, excuse me? I was asked that question in an interview once and I didn't like my answer.
Yeah.
Like my gut answer wasn't good enough for me. And so I've thought about it almost every single day since.
Okay.
And so that is one of those like, even in a dating scenario.
Like, you ask your dates that?
No. But as like a simple example, like I actually really love to ask people what their favorite color is.
Okay, yeah.
Like for me, it actually...
You care about the answer.
I care about that type of thing. And mine is orange. I'm a very colorful human being.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And so for me, I actually really like that. And most people are like, oh my God, not that question again. And I'm like, I'm not asking it to be lame. Like I actually am interested in what your favorite color is.
And she will remember.
Yeah. So I don't, it's just one of those things where like I was asked that question once and hated my answer and have literally thought about it ever since.
I love that. Okay. And now you ask it to get vengeance on said answer.
Basically. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And it also is a really good conversation starter. Like people will be like, what? And I'm like, just tell me, what do you think?
Period.
Literally anything.
Give me a reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, for anyone watching, this is the moment where the cat has officially joined the conversation.
Yes.
Toothless says hi.
Hello, Toothless. Welcome.
Okay, question 10. What is something you're currently looking for support with?
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. And also, that's just like a really simple, easy question to ask instead of like, I think us, even as marketing and branding people, it can sound so salesy if we're like, hi, correct. I own a marketing and design agency. Do you market?
Correct.
I feel like you market and you probably need us. That is just such a better way to say what do you need support in, period. Because if it's anything, correct, as a networking human, it's still your job to be like, oh my gosh, you need someone in sales. Oh my gosh, you need a sparkly blazer for something you're doing.
Great.
Let's help.
Correct. And
I love that.
I'm glad that you caught that because I asked that specifically. And I know that's a more boring question in comparison maybe to everything else we said. And like it's an obvious one, but I think people innately, especially at a networking event, when we all know the purpose of everyone being there, we're trying to expand our networks and our businesses. But there's something to be said about seeking what do you need support with versus how can I help you? Because it's not always you. It might be someone in your network. Like you might not have anything to give this human, but by asking that question and them giving an answer, you might be like, you know what? I can't help you, but I know someone who can.
Right. And that's the magic of networking in general.
Yes, and then they're going to remember that. There is just something so beautiful about it. So just always at a networking event,
I like that.
Don't let it be me. Make sure you turn it back and let the next person talk about themselves too.
Yeah. I love that. A lot, actually, because I think it is important, even if your business is to serve other people.
Correct.
Right? That's literally why we're in business. And we love serving other people in the
Yes.
capacity that we do. That is what drives us forward and makes our fires light every day. However, it's not about us.
Correct.
Ever. Like, you go into a networking event and it's always about the other person.
100%.
Like, how can you love on them better?
And that is something to remember, because people can also feel that energy when it comes to showing up at the networking event going, where can I make money?
Totally.
Who can I give my business card to, versus actually getting to know the person and listening to their answers. People know when you're not actually listening.
Correct.
You could see it in the face. So just showing up and caring and being there and actually being in it. If you are not feeling it and you don't want to be there, so you find yourself lemurring and leaning out from what people are saying and doing that kind of stuff, it is better for you to just call it for the night at that point.
Totally. You'll know your moment, and that's okay.
And that is okay.
Yeah, I think even just something that is an easy engagement addition. Let's say you're not going to memorize these questions. Ask them about themselves in some fashion, and then say, "Tell me more about that."
Yeah,
I'm interested. Tell me. I want to hear about that. Tell me about the time you worked for Cirque du Soleil. I did that recently.
You worked for Cirque du Soleil?
No, but I asked.
I was like, wait, I am with you all the time. When did you do this? How did I get front row tickets?
No. But it was like a fun fact that someone at a networking event told me about. Wow. And everyone else was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You run this business, you run that business. And I found them later and was like, I need to hear about the Cirque du Soleil.
I need videos. I need
literally. I was like, were we upside down? Was it the O one? That's a fun one. And yeah. And so,
and I learned this from Jeff Finster. He was talking about networking. So I'm speaking at an event. And he was talking about if he gets a contact from someone, he puts you in his phone like normal, and the note section in your contact list is wildly underutilized. And I had honestly not even known there was a note section in my contacts until this moment. And it's random fun facts like the Cirque du Soleil one that he recommends putting in your phone for little just like nuggets of information about that person. So I met Kelly Lanes at this networking event. This is what she does. This is her business name. She loves coffee, or she loves the Kraken. She does love the Kraken.
Yeah, go
so
Kraken.
Now when I see that the Kraken won a game, I can text her and be like, go Kraken. And you're just keeping yourself at the top of mind for that human in a really organic way.
In a humanistic way.
Yeah, it's not like,
how's your business?
But in a, oh my God, wait, you told me you were in Cirque du Soleil. I just saw an ad for them and they were really good. Like, I still want to learn more about you, whatever. Really helpful piece of advice.
Yeah. And I think networking in general gets a bad rap because people are worried that it will turn into like a slimy sales pitch.
Yeah.
And if you just go in just to love on the people that are there, like pretend you're walking into a bar with your friends.
Yeah.
And you met people right next to you. Like, what would you say? Like, how are you going to get to know that human being behind the business so that if you are there to support the business, you know them better?
Correct.
Because serving the people better in every capacity is always the win, which I love.
Yeah. So bonus question for anyone listening, because I know networking is not comfortable for everyone. I love it, but I love talking to people. And believe me, I get uncomfortable sometimes talking to random strangers. I have asked awkward questions that I walk away and go, what the fuck? Like, who possessed you just now? That was so cringy. So like, been there, done that. I get that. But I would say innately, I enjoy networking. I love going to an event. I have no problem walking up to a stranger going, hi, I'm Brooke. But not everyone is like that. I know you don't have a problem with it either.
Nope, I have zero problem.
I could talk to a brick wall. What is your best piece of advice for people who are like more introverted and shy and just don't enjoy networking?
Number one, bring a friend.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Networking is always better when you're with someone that you feel comfortable with. If not, okay, for me, let's say it's a morning networking event and you're going to walk in there and the first place you're going to go is go get the coffee that's offered. Go at a time that someone else is getting coffee. Yeah. And just be like, oh, I also like 2 sugars in my coffee. Hi, I'm Kelly. And so it's less like straight up just walking up to someone because that is nerve-wracking.
It is.
We're extroverts and that's still a nerve-wracking moment. So make it like connected to something else. Or maybe if someone's reading a poster in the hallway, you're like, oh, I actually wanted to go to that event. Like, how can you connect with them on a different level than just straight up walking up to someone?
I completely agree. I love that.
Would you add anything there?
I would say no notes on that. I think that's perfect. No notes. My add-in though would be baby step it. They're like really be nitpicky about the networking events that you go to. And I would honestly even say this to an extrovert. Not every networking event is for you.
Correct.
I have been to networking events where I was like, that just wasn't my room. Like, nothing wrong with those humans. They just weren't my humans, and there's nothing wrong with that. But be picky. So if you're someone who is more nervous in big groups, then find networking events that are a little bit more intimate. Maybe find like a local networking group that does dinners or meets for a book club. Or there's also different ways to network. A networking event doesn't have to be
suit and tie and you're going.
Correct. Yeah. Like, you can turn anything into networking, because networking is really just meeting people.
Yeah.
And so find ways to network that feel comfortable to you. And if that means you are finding a local book club, you're finding just a networking dinner versus a big conference.
Yoga class?
Yeah, like just, and oh my gosh, practice talking to strangers.
Literally.
When you order your coffee at the coffee station, bar, Starbucks, wherever you go, instead of just, I would like a white chocolate mocha, like instead of just ordering, follow it up with, how was your day today? Ask a question. Like, start asking strangers questions in ways that feel comfortable. Instead of using the self-checkout at the grocery store, go check out with a human being. They exist.
Big things.
They're still there. But if you start inputting human interactions in your life more and more, and get used to asking strangers questions, and it will become more natural.
I love it.
You may never love it, but it will become more natural.
And you'll become friends with the baristas at your local coffee shop, which is really always a win-win.
Might get a free coffee.
Literally.
Yeah. And the grocery store checkout person, you might make their day because most people don't talk to them.
Right. In any scenario. It could be a bartender. It could be a coffee shop owner. It could be anything. Most people, like you said, do not actually care.
They don't interact.
They're like, this is my order. Here's my credit card. And then they leave. Instead of just standing there on your phone waiting for your coffee, just be like, hey,
engage.
How's it going today?
What's your favorite coffee to make?
Has it been busy today?
I always ask, are you almost done? Do you get to go home soon? Or are you here for a couple more hours? And they're always like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I am off in 2 hours and I'm doing this tonight. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds lovely. Like, you can so easily get into a conversation and they will feel seen. There is an automatically change in demeanor of the person on the other side of the counter because most people don't engage with them.
You know what though? Another thing, it just popped in my head. If you, let's say you have to go to a networking event. Let's say your boss is like, hey, we're part of the chamber.
This conference.
You have to go to this one. That's what's happening, whatever. If you can bring a friend, I highly, highly recommend. Yeah. If you can bring even a colleague who's extroverted with you to introduce you, right?
Ooh,
so if Brooke really was really nervous, I could bring her along with me and be like, oh my gosh, John, hi, how are you? How's the wife? How's the kids? This is my coworker, Brooke. Brooke's incredible at what she does. This is what she does. And also, she also loves horses. So glad you guys have something in common.
Y'all should talk.
Yeah. It's just an easier lead in to meet someone new.
It just feels more relaxed. Yeah, I love that. It's giving How I Met Your Mother. Have you met Kelly?
Whoever.
I was trying to think of, what's his name in the show? Oh my God, Barney. Thank you. Oh my God.
Have you met Ted?
Have you met Ted?
Amazing. Well, those are our top 10. Thank you for listening. If you have any other questions, or maybe there's some fun questions that you ask in networking events, let us know.
Share.
Anything out of the box, anything really fun, because we both love networking. We go to events all the time.
We host events.
And even if there's something like, not every icebreaker is lame. Like maybe you know a really cool icebreaker that you want to share. Pass it along. Why not?
Yeah. So share with us. Please review, comment, leave all the things. It helps us so much more than you know, and we appreciate every single review. DM us if you have requests for episodes, or if you want to be on the podcast with us. We would love to interview other female founders. And thank you so much for joining us.
Also, DM us if there's a way that we can support you. If you're 100%. Looking for something, anything at all that doesn't even relate to us, the podcast, the events brand, the marketing business, anything, let us know if we can support you.
100%.
We have a large network and we'd like to share. Okay, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We have new episodes coming out every Thursday, so we will catch you in one of the next ones.
And please take some time, follow us on @FindYourFuse, or email us at info@findyourfuse.com for all inquiries and all exciting things that you want to chat with us about. We love building this community and we love you. Take some time and leave a review. Anything above 5 stars, we'd love it. But really, we appreciate you and we appreciate your feedback in any form, because the more feedback we can get, the better we'll get.
Okay, love you.
Bye.